Namaskar friends, this is NJ, host on this channel, continuing our discussion on understanding the different houses of our astrological chart. In this video, we will have our discussion on the importance of the ascendant or the first house and what kind of results you can expect if you will find your ascendant lord to be placed in different houses. So friends, to begin with, now if you want to understand the features or signification of the first house, so definitely this is the house which tells about the concerns of your health and your personality. So now when I say personality, whether in the form of your physical features, whether you are tall, you are short, or you have any eccentric personality, you have a beautiful eyes, you have a very beautiful face, so your overall physical features, physical constitution gets seen from the first house. You could also look at it in a way that when people look at you, they get the first impression by looking at the position, placement and condition of your first house, in which dignity you will find the first house. Now when I say dignity, it means which sign is rising in the first house, what kind of planetary influence is present in the first house. So that is definitely going to have a say in coloring up your personality. The second way to understand the importance of first house is that it definitely tells about the concerns of your health, your physical constitution, like what kind of stamina you will possess, what kind of diseases, illnesses your body is going to be vulnerable or prone towards, what is going to be your strength area as a part of your physical personality, your physical constitution. All of that information can be successfully derived from the scrutinization of the first house. Moving ahead friends, first house also tells about your character, the prospects of name, fame, recognition, and most importantly, first house also tells about your potential. No matter in which condition or dignity your other house or the other house lord are present in your chart, unless and until your first house is not strong, you might lack in chasing the signification of other houses. So you could also see the first house as the life force of your life or of your complete chart. No matter in which area of life you are currently working, or in which area of life your aspirations are getting qualified, or which houses are currently activated in your chart, you need to have the support of the first house or the ascendant lord in order to fulfill or chase or accomplish any aspiration of your life. So for example, if you are a creative person, third house matters a lot for you. You are looking out to get married, or you are on a prospective match lookout, so seventh house signification is getting qualified in your case, or in your case attaining or getting any siddhi or getting a foreign settlement is getting qualified. So you cannot restrict your attention only towards empowering the houses which are aligning with your aspiration, because regardless of anything, you need the support of your life force, you need the support of your ascendant and the ascendant lord. That is the reason friends, whenever I get these kind of queries where people ask me that what is my Isht Devta, or who is going to be my Isht Devta, my favorite chosen preferred god basis my chart, so I always say this thing that all get qualified or calculated on the basis of towards which god or towards which personified persona you feel yourself falling in sync with. And we also have to look at the condition of the trine house lords as well. But if you actually want to succeed in the life, you actually want to do good in the life in the form of getting the good support and favorable support from the planets, ascendant lord planet is something which you have to always propitiate. That is the only one aspect of life which you cannot afford to ignore or overlook. And friends, if you want to know the other features of the first house, so definitely first house also tells about your place in the society, whether you fit within the community, within the society, or your projection, your aspiration, or how you find yourself within the world. Like, are you a person who is at peace within his surrounding environment, or are you a kind of person who is always agitated, who is always complaining, always whining? So that information can also be derived from the first house. As I have already mentioned this thing, that first house tells about your character. So because of which first house also has a say in determining an individual's conduct in the society, your behavior, your taste, your association, all of that can be determined from the scrutinization of the first house. And first house also gives us information regarding someone's birth, whether like your birth has been surrounded by some sort of mystery, or whether your birth has been a normal birth or some sort of complication. What was the kind of environment or situation at your home front? Like the way many people say this thing, that I have also seen all those cases where just because of the birth of the child, the parents were going through lot of troubles, lot of miseries. The childbirth happened as a blessings from the God, from the divine, that all of the miseries of the family went away because of the birth. And you must have heard all those kind of stories as well. I still remember I was reading this article that at the time when Genghis Khan was born, the Mongolian leader, so there was a prophecy which was made just because he was born with a clot of blood in his closed fist. So this prophecy was made that in his lifetime he will be responsible for the bloodshed and death of millions of people. So that is something which we can get to know, all of the information regarding or surrounding your birth. So friends, summarizing it, we can conclude that first house tells about your fame, your personality, your health, your potential, and the way public sees you, the way world sees you. Whenever anyone looks at you, what kind of impression they get, all of that information can be derived from the scrutinization of the first house. Friends, whichsoever planet is going to be present in the first house, see, whenever you are doing any assessment of any house, it all comes down to whichsoever planet is going to be present over there. That planet is definitely going to bring its own flavor in coloring the signification of that house. So for example, someone who is going to have a moon or Venus present in the first house, so that is definitely going to make that native's personality very comfort giving, very emotional, very nurturing, very caring. And for example, if you will find a planet like Mars or Saturn to be present in the first house, and that too not in a dignified state, so that might give native a very quarrelsome personality, very agitated personality, always very restless. If you will find Rahu to be present in the first house, so that is going to give this idea that native might have a little bit calculative nature. So friends, now what is going to happen over here is that no matter whichever planet is going to present over there in the first house, that planet is definitely going to bring its flavor or going to color up or shape up your personality basis its own innate nature. But that is still not your own pure true nature. These all are going to be the external or the outside layers. Your true nature is definitely going to be defined by the planet which rules your first house, or which is your ascendant lord. So that is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of the importance of the ascendant in our life. Now we will try to understand that what kind of results you can expect if you will find your ascendant lord to be present in different houses. So friends, if any point of time you will find the ascendant lord or the first house lord to be present in the first house, so that is going to be a very strong indicator that bases the personality and nature of your ascendant lord, that could be seen as a defining aspect of your personality. For example, if you have Aries as your ascendant, and you have Mars present in the first house. So we can say this thing with complete confidence that you are a purely Martian person. If you have a Virgo ascendant and you have Mercury present right over there in your first house, so we can say this thing with complete confidence that you are a purely Mercurian person. So friends, whenever a ascendant lord is present in the first house, so that can be seen as a very good sign. To begin with, you could look at it in this regard that no matter which area of life is getting qualified in your case, God and divinity has made you self-reliant, self-sufficient enough to handle any area, any matter of your life with complete confidence. This placement also gives someone a very confident personality, a good character, prospects of fame, recognition also becomes very important, or tend to remain very conducive, very favorable in native's life. And moreover friends, with this kind of placement, what I have generally seen is that the degree of self-importance becomes very important for the native. So whatsoever native is doing, or in whichsoever area of life native is exerting his energies, he wants to be properly recognized, acknowledged and respected for all of his conduct. And it becomes very important for you to always do the proportionary measures, remedial measures to keep on giving more and more strength to your ascendant lord planet. Moving ahead friends, now if you will find your first house lord's placement in the second house, so that could be interpreted in a way that the whole focus of your life, the whole running around of your life is going in the second house. So second house, which is the prime house of your finances, of your wealth, of your virtues, of your family, of your close-knit family members. So this could be looked at in a way that your whole life energies are going to be devoted towards protecting your family name, protecting your virtues, your morals, your ethics, and being devoted to the family. Like with this kind of placement, I have seen so many people who either start their own business or who join their family business. They carry their family legacy. Like for all those people who come from the family of doctors and they also become doctor. But friends, everything comes down to this point, that in which dignity your ascendant lord is present in the second house. Because let's say for example, for someone like a Sagittarius ascendant native, your ascendant lord is going to go debilitated if present in the second house. Or for someone like a Gemini ascendant native, your ascendant lord is going to go in the enemy sign in the second house. So then in that kind of situation or alignment, all the aspect of second house might start giving trouble to the native in a way that no matter how much efforts native is putting in, he is still getting resistance, criticism from his family members. Native might be even open towards compromising on his family values or on his virtues, and even native's intentions or native's efforts in order to accumulate wealth is definitely going to be always questionable in the society. So it all comes down to in which dignity your ascendant lord is present in the second house. Friends, one thing which I forgot to mention at the introduction part of this video is that ascendant lord is one planet whose dignity you have to always see, always check in all other divisional chart as well. So for example, to actually understanding and determining the true strength of your ascendant lord, you have to check its dignity in the D9 chart or the Navamsa chart as well, in order to help you, support you in your this soul's journey in this lifetime. Moving ahead friends, now if we will find your ascendant lord's placement in the third house, so that could be seen as a very good indication that definitely your life is going to be devoted. The maximum and the major running around of your life in this lifetime is going to be towards the signification of the third house, which could be seen as a life devoted to passion, a life devoted to hobbies, a life devoted to friendship, or you might be a very creative person who just wants to bring out his or her creative flair in whichsoever area of life you are working. Even if you are a banker, the way you make your presentation, you always make it in a very creative way. in a very pleasing way. So that is how we can see that the way your life is going to function or going to turn out. Friends, the ascendant lord's placement in the third house definitely make a person very much devoted towards his friends, very much devoted towards his siblings. And friends, this is also a very good indication for getting success in any field which expects you to be fearless, or where there is strong willpower and determination is required, like all those people who become a cop, who become a fearless lawyer, or they go into so many death defying expeditions. So this placement of your ascendant lord in the third house can be seen as a very good sign. Now the good part over here is that apart from the previous placement of the ascendant lord in the first house itself, where I told you this thing that you are definitely going to be self-reliant, so in the similar lines, your ascendant lord's placement in the third house is definitely going to infuse lot of prowess within you. You have that kind of capability which is required to bring a transformation, bring a healthy change in your life, completely driven by your own self-initiated efforts. So friends, this placement can be seen as a very good sign of some formidable accomplishment and achieving something very big, very substantial, completely relying on your own efforts. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant lord's placement in the fourth house, so that can be seen as a very good indication. Fourth house, which is one of the angular house, which represents the concerns of security, stability, emotional nourishment, your relationship with your mother, all the sources and mediums of conveniences, comforts, luxury. So this is going to give us this indication that the whole focus of your life is going to be in the direction of the fourth house. Now it all comes down to the innate nature of your ascendant lord. So if your ascendant lord is going to be a benefic planet, so definitely you will be driven towards the comfort and the nourishment aspect of the fourth house. But let's say, for example, if in your case the nature of your ascendant lord is malefic, so someone like Mars, which is going to, for the Aries ascendant natives, it is going to go debilitated in the fourth house, and for the Scorpio ascendant it is going to go in the sign of Saturn. So because of which there you will definitely find little bit sort of agitation. So it becomes very important with this kind of placement, if you have got a malefic planet as your ascendant lord and it is present in the fourth house, that what kind of domestic life you will get, what kind of environment you will get in order to succeed in the life. So for a malefic planet, it becomes very important that you should get a very nurturing, a very supporting environment in your domestic life. Otherwise this could lead a life or contribute to a life filled with all sort of bickering, all sort of resentment. So there a native has to work. But individually, friends, the placement of the ascendant lord in the fourth house, I have seen in all those charts, all those people who tend to remain very patriotic, very much devoted, loyal towards their motherland, they tend to remain very emotional, very nurturing. And if fourth house lord is getting good aspect, they also remain lucky in achieving and amassing all the mediums of luxury, comforts and conveniences at the same time. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant lord's placement in the fifth house, which is one of the trine house, so that can be seen as a very good placement. Because friends, the beauty of the fifth house is that no matter which aspect or which guna colors your personality or dominates your personality, whether you are a sattvic driven person, always driven towards knowledge, righteousness, or you are a rajasic driven person, driven towards action, adventure, or even if you are a tamasic driven person, devoted towards feeding to your senses, hedonism, pleasurable experiences, the beauty of the fifth house is that it has got enough stuff, enough material to fulfill any of the aspiration of any of the driven personality. So now for a sattvic driven person, there is enough to devote yourself to the knowledge, to the holy scriptures, towards the gods. For the rajasic driven person, there is lot of recreational activities, action, adventure, art, creativity which might be waiting for you. And if you are a tamasic driven person, the overall planetary alignments in your chart indicates a tamasic lifestyle. So there is enough to feed to your senses. So now what I'm trying to say over here is that fifth house has to do with our past life merits. In the original Kalpurush Kundli, fifth house carries the energy of Sun's Leo sign, which has all to do with honors, which has all to do with creating your own and carving your own niche, doing something completely innovative, completely original. So the ascendant lord's placement in the fifth house can be seen as a very good sign, where if in your case you will follow righteousness, right code in the life, or you are very much devoted towards religious austerities, towards spirituality. And the good part over here is that, or with the trine house, is that ninth house if represents religion, fifth house represents spirituality, being very much aware of your own energy centers, being very consciously aware. So with this your placement of your ascendant lord in the fifth house can be seen as a very good sign, where native's intellect is definitely going to be filled with lot of conscious awareness. And even if you have to understand it from the perspective of living a very learned life, getting the good support of family, or getting good success in any of the fields of art and creativity, this placement is a very favorable placement. And if you will find any of the say or contribution of Ketu in the fifth house, or your ascendant lord is going to be present in the nakshatra of Ketu in the fifth house, then with due devotion and yogic practices, you can also awaken the talents and the gifts of your past life as well. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant lord's placement in the sixth house, this could be seen as a little bit sensitive or vulnerable placement, because sixth house, which is also the Dushtana bhav. Friends, whenever we talk about the ascendant lord's placement in any of this trick bhav or the Dushtana bhav, that is considered as sensitive only because the whole life force or the whole energy of the ascendant or of the life goes in fighting the battles. Like, rather than your soul which has taken birth in this physical form to learn the lesson, to elevate and understand the pure essence of the functioning of life. So rather than being in that pursuit, the whole energy, whole life force goes in battling up the challenges of the Dushtana bhav. So when we talk about the sixth house, it has definitely to do with competition. It has definitely to do with debts, with enemies. Now the good part over here is that if in your case you actually want to elevate and extract the spiritual essence of this placement, so that could be done in a way by actually devoting yourself in some sort of humanitarian work, actually helping and healing the people, and unconditionally offering your energies and your efforts to help the downtrodden people, because sixth house has also to do with the service at the same time. And let's say, for example, if you will find a malefic planet which is ruling your ascendant to be placed in a strengthened alignment in your sixth house, then in that kind of situation it can definitely make you very competitive. It can definitely make you very like when we talk about strong endurance, strong fearless qualities, so that way you can function, or your life can function. The only catch over here with this placement is that whatsoever you want to achieve, you have to fight for it. No matter whether a malefic planet is ruling your ascendant lord or whether a benefic planet is ruling your ascendant, you have to fight for what you need in this lifetime. And with this kind of alignment, always propitiating your ascendant lord by doing the donations, by wearing the gemstones, by adding that color in your wardrobe will be highly advisable, highly recommended. And like the way I said this thing, you can actually utilize these energies by actually unconditionally helping people and devoting yourself to the humanitarian causes. Friends, this is not always that bad. So like, for example, for a Taurus ascendant native, in your case guys, not only the same planet which rules your ascendant, it also rules your sixth house. But even after that, whether you take up the case of a good example like of a Taurus ascendant, your ascendant lord Venus present in its own house, sixth house, where you will be saved from the affliction of the Dushtana Bhav, or whether you will take up the case of a Aries ascendant native with the ascendant Lord Mars being weakly placed in the 6th house. No matter whatsoever situation or circumstance or alignment is getting qualified in your case, a good case or a vulnerable case, you still have to inculcate the habit of fighting for what you need. And when I say fight, that doesn't mean the actual fist fight. I mean to say you have to remain consistent and resilient in the face of any obstacle, in the face of any challenges which might come in your life, and always inculcate this habit of helping and offering unconditional help to the needy people. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant Lord's placement in the 7th house, so just the mere placement indicates that your life is definitely going to be indicated and devoted towards the public, towards the world. Like all those people who become a very successful businessman, a very successful politician, a very much public outdoor life can be seen with this kind of alignment. Now, which could be used and which could work in your favor, or which could create all sort of difficulties at the same time. So it all comes down to whether your aspirations, your emotional mental state is completely aligned with your ascendant Lord's placement or not. And I actually want to add one line over here: whether it is getting aligned or not, you have to mold your life in parallel, in sync, in tandem with your ascendant Lord's placement. So now friends, with this kind of placement, the only vulnerability which I have seen is that many times what happens is that in order to feel fulfilled in the life, native give lot of power to the world in the form of only if someone is going to appreciate me for my look, for my clothes, for my achievements, for any of my association, I am going to feel emotionally fulfilled. Otherwise, I will always find myself lacking that sort of self-worth. So in order to get that empowered and dignified state of self-worth, native actually has to surround himself with positive, encouraging, optimistic people. This placement is generally indicative of all those people who create a very good successful business, all those people who tend to remain very much devoted towards their partner, towards their spouse, or within their marital responsibilities, and along with that very much devoted towards the public outdoor life could be seen as one of the indicative result of your ascendant Lord's placement in the 7th house. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant Lord's placement in the 8th house, so it is a little bit sensitive placement which you cannot compare on a same scale with your ascendant Lord's placement in other Dushtana Bhav like 6th house or 12th house, because 8th house has got intensity which could work or function both in the form of blessings and both in the form of curses. So to begin with, like in certain alignments, this placement can actually work in your favor. For a Libra ascendant native, your ascendant Lord attains exaltation in the 8th house. For a Sagittarius ascendant native, your ascendant Lord attains exaltation in the 8th house. But when we talk about the vulnerable placement, so we have the case of the Virgo ascendant, Scorpio ascendant, even the Capricorn ascendant. So it all comes down to in which dignity your ascendant Lord is present in the 8th house. But one thing which is very sure is that I have seen all those cases where people's fortune gets awakened in far away lands from their birthplace. All those people who remain lucky in getting a foreign land settlement, all those people who remain lucky in any sort of a field of research, or they remain very much lucky in devoting themselves towards the path of spirituality, towards the path of the transcendental wisdom and knowledge, they tend to remain very much fearless. Like all those people, even the death or the matters of death do not defy them, do not fear them. So that level of fearlessness can be seen with this kind of alignment. And the good part over here is that this alignment actually brings lot of transformation in the life. So one mool mantra which these people, all the 8th house ascendant Lord placement people need to learn is that never ever fear or abhor any sort of transformation or changes which might be coming in your way, because in a simply put language, if your ascendant lord is in a strengthened state in the 8th house, or if the same planet is dignified even in the Navamsa chart, so the transformation which come in your life might pave path towards something substantially big in the future. So from that aspect, this placement can be seen as a very good sign. These natives tend to remain very lucky in having a strong intuition, strong sixth sense. And the good part over here is that, friends, I always say this thing: all the houses in our chart have got a limit attached to them, but when we talk about 8th house, it is a limitless house. So important is that with your ascendant lord's placement in the 8th house, devotion become very important, prayers become very important, and if you will actually inculcate all that habits of devoting yourself towards the religious austerities, so trust me, this house can actually bring some big miracle in your life. All those miracles, all those inventions which the humanity has seen from the dawn of the civilization, somehow you can correlate all of those fruits, all of those creativity, invention from the 8th house only. So the friends, the only one thing which I want to advise with this alignment is that there is always this fear of the psychic forces troubling native, fear of evil eye troubling native, or native might get persuaded towards the lawlessness or towards the underhanded activities. So there you need to possess discipline, the indulgences needs to be balanced, all those temptations needs to be curbed. Otherwise, if in its good aspect this house has got all the spiritual powers, all the inheritances, all the researchful qualities to offer, in its negative aspect, this house also holds the power and potential of sudden fall and giving defamation to the native. So you have to understand that in which way you want to devote your life. And I forgot to mention this thing, with the ascendant lord's placement in the 8th house in a dignified state and with a due contribution of Saturn, it is also an indicator of having a long life, having a good longevity at the same time. Moving ahead, friends, now if we will find your ascendant lord's placement in the 9th house, so that or this placement can be summarized in one line as: this is definitely a fortunate birth. You might have done some good deeds in the past lifetime, because of which you are born with this alignment in this life. And friends, with this kind of alignment, the beauty of this placement is that your whole life force, all of your lives running around and aspirations are definitely going to be divine protected. All the 9th house related matters are always going to help you or support you in the form of the mentors, right set of advisors, right set of counselors, long distance foreign travels. So all these areas of life will always help you, support you. And friends, as 9th house also represents religion and religious austerities, so because of which, for someone who has got this kind of alignment, any of the religious austerities performed by this native, and even if in that native's case any aspiration is getting qualified, you wanted to get a job of your choice, and by keeping that wish in the mind, basis your religion, you start going to Gurdwara, going to temple, going to church, or going to mosque. So your wish can easily be be succeeded or can be fructified by taking the path of religion. So even from that perspective, this placement can be seen as a very good energy. Friends, the only one thing which I want to advise with someone having this alignment is that always stay optimistic, surround yourself with the positive people, and always remain respectful towards your religion, towards your father, and towards your gurus and people of religious and spiritual importance. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant lord's placement in the 10th house, so that can be seen as a very good indicator that native's whole life is going to be driven towards fulfilling his duties and responsibilities in this lifetime. The beauty of this alignment is that native is definitely going to get the success in life only because of his duty driven attitude. Like, this could be among those people who will always value the worth and the substance of their given word, who might also possess strong leadership qualities. They might be very disciplined, and it all comes down to in which dignity your ascendant lord is going to be present in the 10th house. Let's say, for example, for a planet like Mars, if you have a Aries ascendant and your ascendant lord Mars is going to be exalted in the 10th house, so that is a fair indicator that all the innate qualities of Mars is going to help the native in order to succeed in career front or in the professional front, where we talk about discipline, strong willpower, strong determination. So from all of those perspective, this alignment or this placement of your ascendant lord in the 10th house can be seen as a very good indicator of getting good success in the life. Now it all comes down to your own preset parameters of success. For you, if success is about getting fame, it is about getting power, it is about getting wealth, so all of that can be acquired, attained by remaining consistently devoted towards your craft or towards your profession or career in this lifetime. Moving ahead, friends, now if you will find your ascendant lord's placement in the 11th house, so that can be seen as a very good indicator, because 11th house is the house of our wish fulfillment. Friends, you have to understand this thing, that when we talk about the other houses of wishes and desires, so other air element houses, karma houses also represents your desires, like 3rd house, 7th house. But the beauty of the 11th house is that not only it gives you highest of the wishes, but it also holds the power of fulfilling those wishes at the same time. So your whole life force, the whole direction of your life is going to be driven and devoted towards like community welfare causes, humanitarian causes. You might be a very friendly person, very much devoted towards friendship, being a part of large group networks and strong association. You might be familiar and acquainted with people of strong influence in the society, in your community. And the beauty and the good part of this placement is that if your ascendant lord is going to be dignified and strengthened in the 11th house, so highest of your wishes can come true with diligent hard work and living your life on the principles and the mool mantra as represented by the nature of your ascendant lord planet. And with this kind of placement, definitely you have to be a part of the collective. Whatsoever happens from the 11th house can only be attained by becoming a part of the community, by becoming a part of the collective. You cannot be self-absorbed, you cannot behave selfish or driven with your own self-interest if you want to get the best out of 11th house. So you have to mold your personal desires to the collective good of the community, then some good results can be attained. And with this kind of alignment, friends, even the elder siblings might also play a very pivotal role in the life of the native. So it all comes down to what is the nature of your ascendant lord planet. So friends, it all comes down to the innate nature of your ascendant lord. If your ascendant lord is going to be a benefic planet like Mercury or Venus or Moon, so definitely your interaction with your friends or with your elder siblings might be very like frivolous, very playful, very relaxing. But if you have your ascendant lord a planet like Saturn or a planet like Jupiter, so definitely there is going to be flavors of mutual respect, honor and discipline in your relationship, whether with your friends or whether with your elder siblings. And last, friends, if you will find your ascendant lord's placement in the 12th house, so it is a little bit sensitive placement or vulnerable placement, where it becomes very important for you to look at the condition and placement of the same ascendant lord in the D9 chart or the Navamsa chart, because that is going to give you this idea that what is going to be the underlying intention, drive or motives of your ascendant lord. How strengthened is the foundation and roots of your ascendant lord in your life. So friends, definitely, because if ascendant represents you, your personality, so 12th house represents loss. So this could be combined together and can be decoded in a way that the loss of personality, loss of identity or the dissipation of energy. But trust me, I am sure you must have heard that song of Eminem of Lose Yourself. So trust me, when we talk about all those people who are even ready to sacrifice themselves unconditionally towards the higher causes. Now this could be the causes concerning the patriotism of the country, of the nation, or this could be towards spirituality, this could be towards your career related goals. So this placement actually makes you capable enough of 100% and unconditionally devoting yourself towards any of the causes. And all those people, friends, who tend to remain very philanthropic, very humanitarian, like they go away to foreign land, far away land, in order to serve, in order to get that sort of pure transcendental knowledge. So from all of those perspective, this placement can be seen as very conducive, very favorable. The only takeaway which I want to give you guys with this placement is that you have to remain open and ready to come out of your comfort zone in order to achieve something big and substantial. So this is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of the Ascendant Lord's placement in different houses. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Thank you.